Snow-tipped peaks and mirror lakes, glaciers and waterfalls, Edelweiss and the haunting calls of the Alpine horn. All this is Switzerland, a tamed but still lovely savage, an oasis of calm beauty in a troubled world. The Rhine flows downstream from Lake Constance, where it forms the natural border between Germany and Switzerland and falls in cascades near Schaffhausen. Masterpieces of ingenuity, the earth wind through the heart of Switzerland. The farmland in the canton of Bern is among the richest in the country. Here it is that we find the famous Emmental cheese and the well-known breed of Simmental cattle. Bernese farmhouses are rather unique in style. The barn is joined to the house, and the house appears to be wearing a poke bonnet. The Bernese themselves are a slow and easygoing people, rather like the bears, which gave their capital city its name. Ever since a party of hunters bagged themselves a bear back in 1191, the bear has formed the heraldic device of the city of Bern. The Bern of today is much like the Bern of old, a city of arcades and flowers and fountains, of distinctive signs over shop doors to tell the shoppers where to buy. Bears are still very much in evidence. They figure in Bern's medieval clock, trooping around in a circle to the sound of a striking hammer, the tinkling of tiny bells, and the crowing of a cock. At the lower end of Bern's main street is the bear pit, where the heraldic animals nibble at the visitors' contributions. If the carrots and the peanuts don't come fast enough, they lie down and holler for them. The traveler hasn't traveled who hasn't been to Switzerland, but there must be something special about Bern, for even the Swiss make a point of visiting there. Side by side with the American tourists are the costumed visitors from Appenzell. Appenzell itself is the chief town of a like-named canton close to the German frontier in the Lake Constance area. In the springtime, when the leaves are green and the fruit trees blossom, the tourist's fancy turns to thoughts of Appenzell. Some rustic Appenzellers still wear their peasant costumes about their daily work. The second Sunday after Whitsuntide is the day of a great religious procession, and on that day you'll see Appenzell costumes by the score. Costumes like these deserve surroundings to match. In the fairy tale town of Appenzell, the Lion drugstore is typical of the architecture, with its painted eaves and plaques showing medicinal herbs. Down in southern Switzerland lies Lake Lugano, in the Italianate canton of Ticino. It is said of Ticino that the skies and lakes are bluer and the mountains greener than anywhere else in the world. A Swiss postal coach route starts from the town of Lugano and climbs into the uplands of the Engadine to Moritz. Moritz is a tourist name to conjure with. The playground of the world it's supposed to be, but then so is all of Switzerland. A mountain has never stopped a Swiss. Rugged climbers take the hard way, railways span the mountain tops, and tunnels cut deep through rocky towers. Some are 10 and 12 miles long, with arcades like huge windows to let in brief glimpses of the sky, or a deep lake far below. When the mountain opens into the sunshine, the scenery, always breathtaking, takes on a new and monumental splendor. By different routes, both the climbers and the tunnel travelers reach the peaks and exchange greetings on the mountaintop. So many superlatives have been lavished on Lake Geneva that there's very little left to say. Travel writers and tourists have ruined adjective after adjective in their attempts to describe it. And Lord Byron was not the man to desist from praising lovely Lake Leman. Byron is particularly closely associated with the castle of Chillon at Montreux. His poem, The Prisoner of Chillon, is a lyrical monument to the Swiss patriot Bonnivard, who was imprisoned there many centuries ago. Byron draws a most pathetic picture of the patriot in a dungeon below water level, which it wasn't, listening to the lake lapping above him. So sad, the heart bleeds for Bonnivard. Byron's findings on the unhappy man are widely at variance with the known facts of history, but this hasn't appeared to bother anybody. It's a short boat trip from Montreux to Lausanne's port on Lake Geneva. One hears of the Swiss being called a nation of innkeepers, which is hardly fair. They might just as well be called a nation of watchmakers, or cheese makers, or chocolate makers. They are all these and more. But the fact is that the Swiss really have a genuine art of hotel keeping. There are more than 7,000 hotels in this small country, and not a bad one among them. Even the masses of publicity that have made the city of Geneva familiar to the world have not lessened its real impact on the senses. Beyond all doubts and beyond all guidebook rhapsodies, it is a city of magical charm. By adopting the principle of permanent neutrality, Switzerland has become a stabilizing element in international affairs. The League of Nations had its home in Geneva until its formal extinction in 1946. The building in Ariana Park is now the property of the United Nations. Switzerland has a double season for sports. The Arctic and the subtropical are but a short distance apart. At Easter time, one may choose between winter sports on the mountain slopes or a golf lesson down in the valley. And there's tennis and swimming and horseback riding as well. Where there are no lakes, and it's hard not to find them in Switzerland, there are outdoor swimming pools. Some of these pools even have artificially manufactured waves. In passing, it might be noted that Swiss watches are not afraid of water. Some like volleyball, others prefer the peace and quiet of a country ride, the sound of horses' hooves in the late afternoon, mountaintops reflected in the liquid mirror of the Rhone. Lucerne is one of the 4 forest cantons, the next to join the Union after the first 3 were united in the everlasting pact of 1291. Today the cantons number 22. Lucerne is the nucleus of the forest cantons and yet another tourist and travel center. It has the distinction of being the oldest tourist center in Switzerland. Lucerne is all things to all people. A residential town for some, a vacation paradise for others, a delight to those who like to do a little mild gambling in a Swiss Kursaal or listen to the strange music of the Alpine horn. For others, it is simply a place of business, and holiday season or not, activity goes on as usual in the marketplace. Though St. Moritz and Lake Geneva have slightly dimmed its glories, Lucerne, with its cool waters and gleaming beaches, is still a perfect holiday spot. Lucerne, too, attracts among its swarms of tourists a large number of Swiss. It's not only the gaiety of a travel center or a lazy life on the beach that they come to enjoy. Their objective is the lake itself and some of its less publicized shores. It was at Rütli, on the edge of the lake, that 3 patriots met to confirm the everlasting pact which united the first 3 cantons. The name Schwyz on the boat is the name of one of the original cantons. It is still the core of the country's name. Though nothing distinctive marks it, the alpine pasture called the Rütli is the consecrated ground where freedom and independence were born in Europe. It was on the shores of Lake Lucerne that William Tell and his son were supposed to have enacted the incident of the apple, but sad to say, it's highly unlikely that there ever was a William Tell. The peak of nearby Mount Pilatus is reached by an electrified cogwheel railway, which cuts through rock to reach the heights. Lucerne and its lovely lake lie at the foot of Pilatus, more than 5,000 feet below. Naturally, this being Switzerland, there's an excellent hotel on the summit. There are things about this alpine land you'll always remember. The incredible cleanliness of everything you see, the miracle of mountaintop railroads, the sunlight coloring 1,000 snow peaks with its ruddy glow. For the holiday seeker's heaven is in Europe, and the world's goal is majestic Switzerland.